All right, so it is 4:30. We're going to go ahead and kick this session off. You are here for Lumio and Bloom, Level Up Your Interactive Lessons, and we have a really exciting session in store for you. My name is Noelle Elvier. I am here from the EdTech department, and I'm a technology specialist supporting all of the schools and trying to see if this is an AI bot that wants to get in. I don't think I'm going to let that one in. Yeah, I'm not going to let the AI bot in. If you could all mute your microphones and keep them muted, that would be super helpful. Today, we have a treat for you. So we have two folks from Lumio joining us in the SMART team. We have Kelly Campbell and we have Michael Green, and they're going to be presenting to you today on this Level Up session with Lumio. But before we let them get started, we are going to do a couple housekeeping things. So in the chat, I'm about to post a link to a QR code. I know you're all excited to be here and have to earn $25 for attending this session. There's a few reminders that come with that. So if you join late more than 5 minutes or you leave more than 5 minutes early, unfortunately, I do have to give you a partial stipend. It's really important that you're logged in from your district account because it makes it really easy when I'm checking attendance. If you're not, don't stress. I will reach out to you. But just keep in mind, if you attend any of these paid sessions, it's really helpful if you're on your district account for tracking purposes. So go ahead and take a minute to get that form filled out. That is how you're going to get your stipend. The stipends will be processed within 2 to 4 weeks. Make sure, I can't stress enough, that your employee ID is accurate. We have accidentally paid the wrong person before, and you won't like it when you're expecting it in your check and it's not there. So take a minute to get that filled out. I will pin that link so that it sticks around for anyone who jumps on late, and I'll post it again later. Couple reminders for the session. There are a lot of you here, 129 at the moment. I expect that's going to grow a little bit. So please keep your mics muted and keep your comments, questions, anything you need assistance with throughout the session, put those in the chat. So I'm here to answer in the chat. We got both Michael and Kelly here. There's another person, I believe she jumped on. I'm not 100% sure. Lee here from our team, and she can also help with the chat as well. So keep your questions in the chat. If we have any time at the very end, we might be able to come off mute for a brief second to ask some last minute questions. And then engage with us, participate. This is going to be super interactive. You all are going to get a link to this Lumio lesson, and you'll be able to play around and explore and learn a little bit more as we go through. And so without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to turn it over to Kelly and Michael. So welcome.
Welcome, everybody. We have 139 of you, and the count just keeps ticking. There it is, 140 as we go through. I could do this auctioneer style right now at this point, but the point is we're very super excited to be working with you. And we know it's difficult to join a training at this time of day at 4:30 in the afternoon. You have, families, activities of your own, different things like that you could be doing. So it's not lost on us that that's the case, and we very much appreciate that you're here with us today. And we're going to do our best to make it the most interactive and fun little session, and of course informative for you as well as we work our way through this today. So we're excited to work with you today. My name's Michael Green. I've been working on the SMART and Lumio Palm Beach project since its inception and since it was even a thing. So just a reminder to mute the mics whenever you're in here. I'm going to do that for Maria for her. So I'm very familiar with what you guys have going on. I've visited a ton of your schools. I recognize a lot of the school names that are popping up. So looking forward to, hearing from you guys and engaging. I'll be mainly monitoring the chat as we go through here. So keep the questions coming in the chat. I'll try to keep up with them as best I can with the 144 people. If there's anyone we need to follow up with afterwards, we're happy to do that as well. So having said that, I'm going to turn it over to Kelly, who's an education consultant with us, former classroom teacher and instructional coach, and she's going to do a great job leading us through this Lumio session.
All right, my name is Kelly Campbell. Like Michael said, I am a former educator. I taught in Georgia. I taught elementary school, so first grade for a long time, then moved into fourth grade, became a STEAM coach, then an instructional technology coach, and now working for SMART. So all things the Smart Board, Lumio, all those wonderful things. We're here to support you with that. So we have a really fun session for you guys today. I did put the link to the session straight in the chat. So if you want to click that, it's going to take you straight to my lesson right here, or you can go to hellosmart.com. My code is 522355, and you're just going to join as a guest. I see that we have 21 people in right now. So for those 21 of you that are in, if you will go ahead and click on that resource icon right here, all that's going to do is take you out to a Wakelet. So it's going to open up another tab at the top of your screen. That's going to be a bunch of resources for you that you can refer back to after the session is over. So once you open that up, click back over to your Lumio tab so that you're here with us again. And I am going to pop this into student pacing just so that you guys can click on my little activity that we have right here. So if you notice this little itty bitty link icon, that's my bad. I should have made it bigger. I apologize. But if you click on that, it's going to take you a few pages down in the file that we have here for a word search. So you guys can be working on that while we get everybody else connected to the lesson. You're definitely going to get the best experience out of this session, as it is all about interactivity if you do connect to this Lumio file so that you can be engaged and follow along with those interactivities. We're going to start out on that student side of things. So you're going to see exactly how it would be if you were utilizing this in your classroom, what it would be like for your students.
So to recap, so far what I'm hearing from Kelly is that we're linking into the link that is in the chat there, and that'll take you directly into the lesson with the class code 522355. We've already got 60 something of you that are in there. Once you're in there, you're going to click on the resources yellow button, and then once you get that resource, that'll open up in another tab. After that, there's a little instruction. Once you have opened the resources, click here. So that's where you'll go from there to the word search.
Perfect. Okay, it is in student pacing, so I'm going to move on to the next slide. Or should we give it another minute for more people to join the session?
The link is there, and if anyone needs help, we can help them in the chat. So I think it's a good idea to keep it rolling.
Perfect. All right, we're keeping it moving. So I'm going to put you back in teacher pacing. So if you're working your word search, I do apologize. I just kicked you out of that. We're just going to keep it moving right along here. So we already did introduction. So there's us. Our contact info is there for you. Just Michael Green at smarttech.com, Kelly Campbell at smarttech.com. So if you guys have any questions after this, don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to support you. So before we dive into this session, I just want to know where you are at with your Lumio journey. How comfortable are you using Lumio? So what you're going to do is you're going to grab one of these cars down here in the polka dot parking lot, and you're going to drop it onto the road for where you feel like you are at in Lumio. So if this is like the first time you've heard of it, first time you've really opened it up, drop yourself at a level 1. If you're slightly comfortable using it, a level 2. If you know it, love it, level 3. And then a level 4, you're like, why in the world am I here? I can lead this session. Which we'd love to see too, because we're always looking for some ambassadors to highlight. So if you know and love Lumio, don't be afraid to drop yourself at that level 4.
And resources opened in a separate tab, so you just need to click back to where the lesson is. And in a moment, Kelly's going to turn on the editing mode so that you guys can move stuff. So this is a whole class activity.
My
You
apologies.
guys,
That was my bad. I paused
no worries.
the editing.
That's okay. It's a great opportunity to talk about what we're doing. So this is a whole class activity. Everyone has access to edit, but as a teacher, you know how it goes. You want to be in control. So you have a little tab at the top of your screen. You can see it in blue on the very top of Kelly's view there, where you can click on editing or not editing access.
And you'll notice that these cars are infinitely cloned, so you can have as many students in your class be able to participate in this session. So while we're looking at it right here, it's going to look like all of these cars are anonymous, but as the teacher, I can go in, I can click on here, and I can hit this drop down, and I can see who's added what. Not to call anybody out, just showcasing this can be done. So if you have anything crazy happening in your class, or you really just want to highlight somebody that's doing something awesome, you can see who's contributed what in any one of our workspaces. So we are all over the board here from beginning to expert level. So we're going to have a little something for all of you as we go through this session. So hopefully those of you that are at that level 4, you're going to take away some of the new features that Lumio has just dropped and be able to bring those back to your lessons and utilize them.
I appreciate that you guys made that look as much like actual Palm Beach traffic is at this very moment.
That's funny. Okay, so what we're going to do now, you guys know about me and Michael, so we want to know a little bit more about you. So you have 4 questions here. First one is, what is your current role? Second one, what grade levels do you support? Third, what would make this session effective for you? And finally, what do you already love about Lumio?
What's my role? Kindergarten teacher, right?
Yep, so you're just going to pop that into the Lumio file here. This activity is called Shout It Out. So as you're seeing it right now, everybody is anonymous. So what I can do as the teacher is I can go ahead and I can turn those display names on, which would allow me to see who's added what. I can keep those display names off, and I can go back at the end of the lesson or at a later date, and I can turn those names back on, and it would show me. Even if you're not in my class any longer or in this file any longer, I still have the ability to go in and see who's added what. So we can click through here and highlight a few of these. Let's see what's going to make this effective for you. Hopefully you're going to see all of that interactivity, engaging, hands-on, math, perfect. I don't know, no worries. Continue to engage. All right, you guys are going to be very easy to please. All right, ease of use. Yes, that is one thing we really try to do, is ensure that it is definitely easy to use. Wonderful. Exactly. We're just taking what you already have and what you're already using and making it more engaging and more interactive for your students. Perfect. All right. Going to move right along. And one last little activity before we really dive into it. I just love this one so much. It's one of my favorites. So which squiggle are you? So what you're going to do is you're going to drag and drop the squiggles in order for the one that is most like you to the one that is least like you. If you need your squiggle to be a little bit bigger, you're going to click on the blue square and it's going to enlarge it for you. Now, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and look at the data that comes along with this. And I can see that about half of my class has started. The other half has not clicked start yet. So you can watch that in real time. And because this one is opinion-based, there is no right or wrong answer. Everybody's going to get a perfect score. But I can also go in and I can see that individualized student progress. And for somebody, Tiffany, I'm going to borrow yours. I can go in and I can see the exact order that Tiffany put her squiggles in. So you can do that with all of your students. And again, all of this data is going to stay here for me until I either restart the lesson, I delete the lesson, any of that. Like nobody from Lumio is going to go delete it out. Nobody from the district is going to delete it out. You're going to be the only one that has that ability. You can also export the results so that you can save a copy of them outside of Lumio if you would like. Normally, this is where I'd ask people about their squiggles, but because there's 157 of us, I am not going to do that. So we're going to keep it moving. And just because we did have so many 1s and 2s, I am going to give you a really quick, brief overview of all the things that make Lumio unique. So first off, what was pointed out and one of the things that somebody loved was being able to pull in your already created content. So importing your Google Slides straight from your Google Drive that's integrated into Lumio. So you're not having to go somewhere, download, import all of that. It's all in one space. You bring in your PDFs, PowerPoints, Canva presentations, whatever it may be. You pop it in over here, and now you're able to deliver it to your students. Just like I am with you, they're able to see it on their device in real time. If I were to pick up a pen, and anything that I'm writing on here, that was the ugliest little circle, I apologize. Anything that I'm writing here is going to automatically show up on your screens as well. So all of that follows me, and all of this ink is going to automatically save without me having to do anything extra. Once you bring your file in, you're going to decide what kind of workspace you want it to be. An individual handout, same thing as passing out a piece of paper to all of your students. You can do a group workspace, so students working in pairs or in small groups, or whole class whiteboard like what we saw with the cars. There are 12 different game-based templates. All of them are completely customizable, just like you saw with our squiggle activity. I changed the background to fit our theme of Lumio in bloom. So we had some flowers there. You can do that with all of our games. So if you're looking at that, say you're a secondary teacher and you're like, ooh, these are really elementary, you can change it and make it fit your classroom theme. Next, we have our response activity, and this is basically your traditional assessment tool. It is going to automatically grade for you. So that's your fill in the blank, your multiple choice, short answer, all of those types of questions. It goes into an Excel document and it grades it beautifully. We're going to see that in real time later on in the file. We have our ready-made content, which includes our Lumio library, where there are hundreds of thousands of already created lessons from start to finish that are completely customizable for you. YouTube's embedded, no ads beginning, middle, or end, no access to the comment section either for your students. The shouted out activity allows for students to have a voice in the class who might not always participate if they had to raise their hand, which you guys saw when you told me a little bit about yourselves. You have the ability to decide who has the autonomy to move through the lesson. Right now, I'm in control, so I'm taking over your screens. When I go to the next slide, you automatically come with me. I put you in student pacing. You'd move about the file at your own pace. Immersive readers also embedded, which we're going to see. Audio instructions, you'll notice they are throughout this slide. So I have instructions right here that give an overview of what this is. Some individualized little speakers here that are just explaining what each one of these components does as well. You got your shapes, lines, images, PhET simulations. There's 113 of those currently embedded for both math and science, starting about the 3rd grade standards and above. And then the Desmos calculator is also embedded. All right, we're just going to keep it moving. So I want to know a little bit about what you guys are currently doing to make your lessons interactive. So I know there's 97 of you in this session, so we're gonna do this and we're gonna be brave. So I'm going to turn this into a whole class whiteboard, which is gonna allow for all of us to collaborate onto this page together. So if you notice over here on the left-hand side of my screen, I have all of my tools. If you don't see your tools, you'll have 3 dots. Select those 3 dots. If you click on the letter A and then click on the screen, you'll get a text box. So you can type in ways that you are currently making your lessons interactive for your students. Hands-on manipulatives, Canva, Lumio. One thing I did forget to mention is Canva and Lumio did become best friends a couple of years ago. So you no longer have to download, import, and all of that to get your Canva files and presentations over into Lumio. You link your 2 accounts together, and then you just click Add to Lumio. Very simple from the Canva side. As you can probably tell, the majority of this file was made in Canva. I love that place too. See, some people found the stickers and are trying to utilize the pen tool here. Vocabulary, Pear Deck, Canva, Kahoot, Google Slides, Blooket. Oh, my students love Blooket. I miss Jamboard. I hope you're kind of seeing some ways that Lumio can also kind of fill in some of those gaps from Jamboard. I know that was a heartbreaking one to see go. All right, awesome. You guys are doing quite the ways of interactivity. So Lumio is just going to be another tool to put in your toolbox to help engage your students, and a great place to do some app smashing as well. So we're going to start with an example of PhET simulation. This one was a math one. And this one's all about area builder. So you can click, or area, sorry, not area builder. So you can click start on your side. You're going to drag the orange squares. And as you're dragging these squares, you're going to notice your area and perimeter increase. If I take a square away, you'll notice that everything changes. So your students can go through, learn how to utilize the activity, click on the game, and now they're going to have an objective. The objective is going to be different for everybody. So you can have students working in pairs or working together in one space, and then they would still have their own objective to complete. So they're not just being their friend next to them. Obviously, I know that's not 30, but if you get it wrong, it gives you a little sad face. You get it correct, you get a happy face, and you move on to the next level. So that was math. Now we're going to check out a science one. This is more secondary. Obviously, we cannot construct an atom in the classroom, so a simulation is going to be our next best move. So what you're going to do with this one is you're going to drag and drop your protons, neutrons, and electrons. And as you're doing that, you'll see which elements you are creating. And then this one, again, also does have the game. So it's going to give you an element, and then your students would have to create that. So you've got a variety of ways to engage your students utilizing those PhET simulations. All right, so I was an elementary teacher, and my last year in the classroom, I taught 4th grade. So you're going to see an activity that I actually utilized with my students. Now I know that we are all adults and educators here. So I promise, I know you know your prefixes. I know you do. But for the sake of the data that I want to show you, please get some of them wrong so I can show you what that looks like from that student side. So all you're going to do for this one is you're going to drag and drop. See, I want to show you what gets wrong. So you're going to drag and drop to the flower, and you get it wrong, it's going to bounce out. You get it correct, it's going to go up into the little beehive. And again, this is what I was talking about when I was saying like, ooh, maybe it's going to feel a little too elementary. You can change all of that. If you don't want it to be bumblebees and flowers, you have the ability to customize it to be whatever you want it to be. Now, while you guys are completing that, I'm going to look at that data. And every time I tell people to get it wrong, we always have some people that are like, no, I just have to get 100%. I get it. I understand. So we can see, and this is something that I would have up like on my board and showing to the class as they're working, because this is just a class overview and it's not showing any personalized student data. But as a class, we can see, okay, we are really solid on the prefix re. We know that that means again, so we're not going to need to spend any more time on that one. But I can toggle that over to incorrect, and I can see, okay, maybe we're struggling a little bit with the prefix over. If that number is getting really large, I know in a quick snapshot as a teacher, I just need to do some reteaching on that one. Now I can be signed into Lumio simultaneously on multiple devices. So on my laptop, this is where I would pull up my individualized student progress. So I'm not showing anybody's work to anybody. Kelly, I'm going to pick on you because we have the same name. So why not? And I appreciate you for getting 2 out of 5. Good job. So you can see that Kelly took 3 different attempts to get and 3 attempts to get over. And it's showing you every single one that they matched up before they got it correct. So eventually they will get 5 out of 5, but you're seeing everything individualized. So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to be like, all right, Kelly, you're coming to small group today. We're going to do some reteaching on this, especially because we can see the amount of time that it took. They definitely tried, and it's just a moment for some reteaching. So a quick way to pull in your students for their groups and get that data to see what needs to be done.
And you
And then
can
again-
export you can
Right, go ahead.
export those results, right, Kelly?
Yes, that's where I was just headed. You read my mind.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, just as
Um,
Michael was saying, you always have this export results on the activities that have the individualized student data. So you'd be able to export all of those.
Kelly shared one of my favorite Lumio tips, and I want to make sure that all 158 of you in here come away with that nice and loud and clear. So what Kelly just shared with you guys is that you can log in to Lumio or your smart whiteboard from 2 different devices at the same time. So at the front of the room, you can have your Lumio lesson running, and you can be on that same Lumio lesson at the same time on a separate device. That device can be as convenient as your phone. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a little remote. So you can walk around the room, you can advance the slides, you can pop in and look at student groups and individual work and see what they're up to. You can convert from student to teacher pacing. All of those things will be at your fingertip, whether it's a phone, a tablet, a computer, anything you have access to that gets you a little bit more mobile around the room instead of being stuck at the front of the room. So do that. If you take one tip away, try Lumio lesson and try logging in on 2 separate devices and see how much easier that's going to make it for you.
Perfect. Thank you for recapping that, Michael. All right, so if you want to start with something simple, as in you're bringing in a Google slide or you're bringing over a Canva file, whatever it may be, one thing we like to do is to Lumify it. And so to do that, it's so simple. This file was already in Canva. I didn't even have to make it. It was so cool. It was a template. And then I added my little red guy right here that says move me for the answer. So we can talk about what that prefix means, click on it and move it. And I did make this an individual handout. So that means you're all getting your own copy. So you can play around with that as well. As you click start, your name appears on the screen. So you can instantly see who's on task, who's following along. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, is everybody on the right thing? You're not having to walk around to computers and make sure they are in the correct tab or anything like that. You'd have it right here. And then one other thing that I would like to point out here is for people who have clicked the done button in the top right corner, keep bouncing around, I can't click on you. It'll give you an indicator that they have completed the lesson or the activity for that day. And so I can go on it, I can give some feedback, great job, move on to the next one. One way that I've seen this in a unique way that I absolutely loved, it was in a secondary classroom. It was in a high school, and they were using Lumio to do some group projects and some individualized ones. And the green check mark didn't just mean like, hey, I'm done. It meant like, hey, I'm giving you the okay to click on my name and pull it up in front of the class without the teacher having to get that verbal or talk to them during that time. It was just a quick indicator like, oh, Christy is proud of her work. She wants me to look at it. So you have that ability to use that check mark in more ways than just one. All right, and this is another handout that I wanted to share with you. Again, we're just going through my 4th grade file together. So these are some of those new features, bringing in some of that audio, which now take it from, I ran out of copies at the end of the month, so I needed to find a different way to get this worksheet to my students. So utilize Lumio to have a copy for all my students. My students would click on the letter A, and they'd be able to type their answers on there. Also, I added the words directly to the document. So my students didn't have to type on anything. They just had to click and drag. So they could drag them to the correct area. And then we also added, well, I added my voice. So reading aloud to the students. So if you have any students that are on an IEP or need that extra support, simple way to do that. And you're doing it for the whole class. So nobody feels singled out either. Also, the instructions are here again, because we all know how it goes in the classroom. You'll have to repeat yourself 27 times because they click start before you gave your instructions. So they can just listen to your voice rather than you having to spend that time going over it. And again, same thing, because this is a new individual handout. When you click start, your name is going to appear here again. And all of this data is going to save. So there's nothing that you're having to do on that student side to save your work. It just automatically saves. Then it's going to live inside of my file until I choose to either reset the activity or delete my lesson. Nobody else is going to make my data go away. All right, so this is another activity that we wanted to showcase some of that audio. This one is not a handout for you to be able to do anything with. So this one would just be me showcasing things that you can do. Again, just like we saw in a whole group, I can click right here and I have my choices. I can do it as an individual handout, a group workspace, or whole class whiteboard. But what I love most is to not have it preset as one of those, like our last two handouts were, just so that you can really showcase, I'm going to model the activity, I'm going to give my instructions, and then I'm going to allow for my students to do the work. So now we can turn it back into an individual handout. A start button appears on your screen, and then we go through the same thing again. All right, and then here is another example of that audio. So this audio right here just says the exact same thing. Record yourself reading the story and then draw a picture that matches the story. So for students to be able to record using audio, they would click underneath the eraser. So this little picture icon right here, and then they have their microphone right here. They would hit record audio. So I want to give you guys a second to play with that. So I'm going to turn this one into an individual handout for you, just so you can see where that audio is. So again, the icon under the eraser, the heart plus picture icon, and then the microphone. And if you already had audio, you could upload it or just record. You can record up to 5 minutes, and then you'll have the ability to like hear it back, delete it, start over, whatever you want to do with it. All right, this one is one of my favorites, and I know you guys don't know me yet, but we're going to become best friends by the end of this, and math is not my thing. When I moved to 4th grade, I told my principal, absolutely not, I'm not teaching math. But this makes math fun. I love this. So we have our little spooky magic tunnel. So we can figure out 8x equals, oh, look at that, 56. How fun is that? I'll turn this one, no, individual, too many. I like to switch these up and do like group workspaces or whole class whiteboards, but there are so many of you, it'll just become a hot mess. So I want you guys to play with that and see how when you slide things back and forth, different things happen. And all that's being done for this one, such an easy one to create, is you're just layering the objects, but based off of the color. So we want to see 3x. So that one's going to be white on top of a black square. We want to see the answer. We're going to get it right there. So that's all that is. So it can easily be done with with any subject area that you're utilizing. All right, and then for any of the legendary old school notebook users, the word I was looking for was legacy, not legendary, but you know, we're gonna get there. You're gonna notice some of our features.
They're all legends.
They are. Some of the features are making their way into Lumio now. Been a huge request and they are on their way. So one of those is going to be the locking feature. So we can slide things. I can't move it up and down, but I can only slide it horizontally. So I'm going to give you that chance to check that out too. So you can put your timeline here of space exploration into the correct order if you know the answers. All right, we are not going to read Clark the Shark, but if you have not read Clark the Shark, highly recommend. It's a great one. But I just wanted to showcase what YouTube looks like inside of Lumio. I don't know if it's going to share my audio. I don't know if I set that up.
Hi, everyone. You're just in time for another.
But it's just the video. You're not getting anything extra that comes along with it. No ads, none of that. It's just the video. Then we can bring in a graphic organizer and we can talk all about Clark the Shark. And this one is always my favorite to do in a large group because we're going to complete this graphic organizer together. Whether you've read Clark the Shark or not, you're just going to make up what you think Clark the Shark is. So give me some key details all about Clark the Shark in your mind. Who is Clark the Shark? Unless you've read it. I did see there were some kindergarten and first grade teachers in this group, so you've probably read Clark the Shark. You can go a little creative instead of just typing something in. If you click on that image icon and then click on images again, you can actually do a Bing Safe Search. So if you wanted to pull in Clark himself, you can do that. All right, let's see. Let's see what's happening. He's got sharp teeth, big and gray, plays rough with his friends, visits an island of penguin, and teaches them about terrorists. Okay. Clark the Shark is just really on one. Oh, here we go. Oh, somebody's drawing the shark. Bonus points for creativity. We got Clark swimming his way in here. Some shark teeth. Oh, we've got this story. Love it. Perfect. All right, I'm going to showcase Immersive Reader. Like Michael said earlier, his one big thing was being able to utilize this on multiple devices at once. Immersive Reader is probably my second best thing about Lumio. It just really takes the learning to the next level. It does so much more than just read to the students, but then you're also meeting the needs of everyone in the classroom without having to single anybody out. Because the way that it works right now, you guys don't have any tools, but what you do have is the Immersive Reader icon. So Immersive Reader is always going to work if the software can depict the text on that page. So that means that it has to come as a true PDF, an editable Google slide, editable Google Doc, or type directly on Lumio. for it to be able to depict between images and text. So if you compress something down like a meme or something like that, it's going to come across as a stagnant file that's been compressed. So we're only going to see that as an image, and the software is not going to be able to depict the words on that page. So if you click on the Immersive Reader button, it's going to highlight everything that can be read. And then we're going to click on the little icon one more time, and it's going to take us out to Immersive Reader. So
the city mouse lives in a house.
you can do a bunch of different things. We can have it read to us. We can increase, decrease the speed, change the voice. If you have students that need an increased font size, you can do that as well. First grade teacher in me, I'm going Comic Sans because it gives us that correct A. You have students with a need for inverted backgrounds or any other visual impairments. They can do that with the touch of a button here. Now, to go beyond some of the traditional Immersive Reader features, we're going to click on this little magic wand, and we can break the words apart by syllables, and we can highlight the different parts of speech to see that sentence structure. So, great space for all levels as they're learning. And then if you have students that need support reading line by line, you can go line focus. Turn that off. And then if you have a need for translation, I have yet to have somebody ask me for a language that is not in here. So that's saying a lot because I've had some things thrown at me. But you've got all these different ones. We're going to go with Spanish. And you can translate it by word or by document. And when you translate it by document, you'll have the original in there as well as the translated. And yes, I see someone says, I love the picture icon. That's exactly where I was going next with it. By a word that's been easily depicted by a picture, if you click on it, it's going to give you that as well. If it's something like what, it's not going to give you a picture. But if it's something, oh, look at that, a computer mouse. Well, does anybody have those anymore? So you've got all of those different abilities right here within Immersive Reader. And it's not anything extra that you have to set up as the teacher. You simply turn it on for your class, and then it's on forever unless you ever want to turn it off, but you never have to think about it again. Okay, so a monster quiz. The downside to this one, it's going to be, Michael, what's the limit? Do you remember? Not all of you are going to get to play, basically.
54.
54. The first 54 of you are going to get to play. The rest of you are...
Roughly a third of you get to do the monster quiz.
So I'm going to divide you guys into teams.
Woo!
Look at you all. All right, if I'm looking at this and I'm like, Michael and Jillian could absolutely never work together, you can move people around. They're not stuck together by any means. Anytime you see student names, it would be the same with the group workspace. It's going to randomize them, but you also,
Hi, Jillian. Now I'm on a team with two Michaels.
Michael and Michael. You have the ability to always move students around and customize it in the way that you need it to be. So we're going to start this. And for those of you who are brand new to Lumio, we're going to see how good of a teacher I was with Lumio, because these questions are all about Lumio. So you'll notice if you get the question correct, your name is going to pop up on my screen with a green check mark. If you get the question wrong, it doesn't call you out by any means. Your little box just shakes. Yeah, this is always a fan favorite. It'd be your most comparable to like Kahoot or Blooket. You will notice too that with this, if you do get a question wrong, it does come back to you, but it's going to gray out your original answer choice. So it does kind of scaffold as it comes back around to you.
Let's go, Mega Bouncers.
Michael, if I had to guess, I would expect nothing less than you got 100% on this.
I'm already done. And don't forget, Kelly, in Palm Beach, they not only have standard Lumio, but they have Spark.
Oh, even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look fancy, fancy. So with that, you guys have the ability to have your shared libraries. You can co-edit with other teachers. So you guys have you have AI. So with all of these games that we've been doing, you, instead of having to create them yourselves, typing in those questions, you can use the AI and just say, hey, make me a game about the water cycle. I want it to be 8 questions. And then you tell it the grade level, and then boom, it creates it for you. You can go in and still, again, customize anything that it's done for you, but it's going to save you so much time. The AI assist is incredible.
Yeah, Lauren, we aren't able to get everyone in there because there's a limit of, what did I say, 54, 9 groups of 6. So not everyone was able to get into this game. But typically in your classroom, most days, hopefully you have fewer than 56 students. I wish that for you.
I wish that for you as well. All right. So with Monster Quiz, all you what you're going to get here is a nice overview so I can see. We're going to look at the top ones because I feel like a better teacher at the top up here. We slide down, we're getting a little rough. So we can do a whole class overview, and the gray space just means that not everybody answered that question. If it's green, that means everybody got it right. That did answer it. If you start to see multiple colors, it's like, ooh, maybe I need to do a little reteaching. So one way that I really like to utilize Monster Quiz is before I start teaching a standard. That way I can get an understanding of where my students are at. So if I'm teaching about the water cycle and I see that they know all about the different types of precipitation, everything is green here, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. I'm going to move on to the next component. But if it's all colorful, spend a lot of time. Or if right before a benchmark, if you have an opportunity to do a monster quiz, you're going to get a quick overview of anything that you might need to do some reteaching on. So you guys did pretty solid. I'm impressed. 100% on shout it out. Love it. Good job, guys. All right, so before I click start, what you're going to do with this activity is in one word. This is that traditional response activity, but we're just doing a short answer. If you can do it in one word, do it in one word, great. If not, try to keep it concise. What do you love most about the interactivity of Lumio? It could be a feature, it could be a component. What do you love the most?
And once you answer, you're going to hit that little arrow at the top. That'll advance you. Now, if you had more than one question, it'll take the students to the next question. But since you only have one, it's just going to take you to an overview and then you submit. I put it in the chat, but Michael, we saw your request to see the AI assist feature. We are trying to fit all the content we can in today. We will try. Just type in a item into the text box, Christina, and then there's a blue arrow at the top that takes you to the next question. But since there's just one, a bar will appear on your right-hand side, and then you'll confirm.
And I'm going to give you guys like 15 more seconds to add yours in, and then I'm going to go ahead and end it.
This chat's been easier to keep up with than I was anticipating with 160 people.
It's good. It's good. Oh, my audio was sharing. I see my little, this is my first time sharing my screen in Google Meet, so we're just kind of going in here blind. All right, here we go. It made a fun little word cloud. Who doesn't love it?
Wow.
So nothing extra I had to set up. It was just utilizing the short answer inside of the response activity. Now I can export these results out and I would see who's added what. but we can see 6 people said games, 1 person said immersive reader, 9 said that it's interactive, 1 person said monster quiz. So you can see all the different things. And we love that. And I just want to show you what that would look like if I downloaded it and exported it out. From the teacher view, it's going to be in the bottom left-hand corner. It does go into a beautiful Excel document for you. It's going to give you that percentage as well as color coordinate, color code, everything in here. So the ones that got right were green, wrong were red. Anything that was a short answer is going to show up as blue. And then this was the student view as well. All right. This is our last little activity, and then I can hop over and show you guys the how to do. Oh, it's only going to be 54 of you. Oh, well.
That's okay. I think they should see a small group. All right, so you know how it broke up the teams with Monster Quiz. It's gonna be the same for any page that you want to make a small group. So you can turn any page into a small group activity and it'll randomly create the groups. And just like we had to split up Jillian and myself earlier, you can customize any of your teams if you don't want it to be random.
One question I do always get a lot is, can you preload the teams prior to the students being in there? And you cannot, because it's based off of the students who are in that live lesson at that time. So this is not going to be an activity that can be done asynchronously. It's going to be one that has to be done live. So just like I could with the individual handouts, I can go in and I can see your teams, give you guys little eyeballs. Again, if you are not remembering how to use the tools, you've got your toolbar on the left-hand side or the 3 dots. You'll select that, and then you'll have your letter A. It's going to give you that text box.
Sylvia, you asked how can I answer the questions. I don't know if it's related to this particular activity that we just started, but we can only do 9 groups of 6 in the small group workspaces. So it could be the case that you weren't placed into the group because we have 160 people. Individual handouts, no problem. Limit lists, essentially. Shouted outs, no problem. Limit lists, FET. Well, the only things that have that upper limit are small group and monster quiz, because it is a small group, or teams quiz, which is the same thing as monster quiz with no monsters.
All right, and for the sake of time, I am going to keep it moving. I did want to give you guys this though real quick. If you are on Facebook, highly recommend you scan this QR code real quick, and it'll take you straight to our Lumio Educators Facebook group. It's a great space. I know Facebook can be a little ugly sometimes. It's a great space to be, to collaborate with other educators across the globe and share resources, ask for support, all of that fun stuff. And if you absolutely are loving Lumio, please join our ambassador community. You'll get access to some cool features, and you'll know about all the awesome things coming out before they actually come out. So
you do not need to be an expert to be an ambassador. You don't need to do anything to be an ambassador. In fact, you get to benefit more than you even need to do anything. We don't ask much of you. If you want to contribute, great. But I'd love to see, we got 159 people here. I mean, 100 new ambassadors. We'll let 59 of you off the hook, but let's get 100 ambassadors out of this training to join that group and build our community, so we have much more people sharing the Lumio love and just telling everyone the types of ways that they're doing Lumio out there, so that you can learn from each other and then it becomes even better. Love it. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay,
All
I
right.
am going to showcase really quickly how to utilize that AI piece. It's super, super simple. So all you would do is, while you're building a lesson, if I click on my blue plus right here, I'm going to go to my game-based activities, and we'll do a monster quiz, because that's what the one I was talking about. So for monster quiz, it's gonna, as soon as I click it and I want to create it, it's gonna automatically open up to that AI component first. If I wanted to traditionally do it, it'd just be the add, the edit. But if I wanted to use the Lumio one, we're going to go here, and I'm on a water cycle kick today, so we're just going to keep it moving with the water cycle. And we'll do 8 questions, grade 4, perfect. And let's make it a little more difficult because my students should know all about it by now.
So the Florida Best Standards are in there. Oh, quick note, if you're looking at the student screen, Kelly had to stop the student lesson because she's in edit mode creating a lesson. So you just want to look at the Google Meet screen instead of the, there's not supposed to be anything in the actual student lesson right now because she's building it. So she had to close it. Florida.
So then I can go in, I can see all of my questions. If they're what I want them to be, then I can click stop and go to next, and ta-da. Oh, we can have a spring one here today. And now my monster quiz is done. And that took us all of what, 20 seconds? And then I can finish editing. And now you guys are back into my lesson. So it's that easy for you to make any edits right there on the fly and be able to go back into the session. It's not where your students are going to have to type in a new class code or anything like that. It all remains the same. So super seamless, super easy for you as a teacher, super easy for your students as well. And with that, Noelle, I think you wanted the last 3 minutes, so all you.
Well done, Kelly.
Thank you so much. We are really excited to try out all these new features. Thank you, Michael and Kelly. You kicked it out of the park today. So I hope you all gained some valuable information. If you never tried Lumio, this is your invitation to give it a shot. I did repost the link to the Google form. This is how you're going to get your $25 for being here today. So make sure you get that filled out. Don't worry, I'll hunt you down if you didn't and you're on my attendance for today. You can scan it with the QR code or click the link that's pinned in the chat. I'll do it one more time so it's down at the bottom. One quick reminder before you leave. The in-service option is there for you. It is optional. You do not have to do the in-service implementation in order to get your $25 stipend. That is completely up to you, but the option is there for you to earn 2 in-service points. Please, please keep in mind that the course will close at 12 a.m. on the due date, which I believe is the 6th of June. So that last day that you're here for Teacher Workday, you have to get it submitted in ELM by 11:59 on the 2nd, because once it strikes midnight, the course will close and it will not allow you to add any more of your implementation. So keep that in mind if you're looking forward to getting those 2 points. And because it's closing in June, there's a very good possibility those 2 points won't make it for recertification, because you'll need them by the 30th. So don't count on those 2 points if you're recertifying this year. Always check out our EdTech training site. We have lots of great information here. This is also where I will post this recording from tonight, but I'll share it in an email. Try to get that out to you tomorrow. The link to our EdTech site is here. We also have a sheet on the e-learning courses page that shows you all of the courses that we have at any given time. And then lastly, I'm going to do one more quick post in the chat. These are, well, that wasn't it, but this one, join our mailing list. The one I put in the chat, the mailing list, we don't send out a ton, but it is a great way for you to find out what we have coming up, especially these exciting paid opportunities. I will post that one next, but this slide shows the last 3 that we have. There's the link to that one now. But our mailing list, if you're not on it, get on it, because you won't miss the next time we have a session that's being offered. This is our team. We're so happy to have spent the afternoon with you. We hope you found value in this session. And that concludes our time together. Thank you all for being here.
Christina, did you have a question?